be the tutorial that's going to teach you how to do the Zig Zag Puff Stitch. And for this tutorial, I'm going to be using worst weight yarn, which is 10 ply for the US, 4 ply for the US, 10 ply for Australia, and a 5mm hook, which is a size H for the US. But you can use any size hook and yarn for this stitch. The multiples of this stitch is 3. So what you do is you chain in sets of 3, and then when you're ready to begin, you do 2 more chains. So the full multiple of this stitch is 3 plus 2, because you do that plus 2 right before you get started. And to begin, the stitch always works better if you do a row of single crochets. So we're going to be single crocheting in the second chain from the hook, and then single crochet down the rest of your chain. And I'll see you when you get to the end. And when you get to the end of the row, you want to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. Now you're going to be skipping the first 2 stitches. This chain at the very beginning won't count as one of those stitches, so you're going to count the next 2. 1, 2, skip those 2, and in this third stitch you're going to want to do a double crochet. Then chain 2, and now we're going to be working in this beginning stitch where we have our chain. Don't yarn over, just insert your hook right into that first stitch. This is how we're going to be doing the puff stitch. Let me back up just a bit. So you insert your hook into that stitch, pull up a loop, and pull it up. Then you'll yarn over, go into that same stitch, and again pull up a loop and pull it up. Then you do that one more time, yarn over, go into that stitch, pull up a loop, and pull up. You should have 6 loops on your hook. Then you want to yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. It's so hard to do that slow. And then you'll chain 1 to secure. And that's how you'll be doing your puff stitches throughout. So once you've done your puff stitch, you can see here, this is where you have your double crochet. This is your double crochet. It's kind of pulled over to the side, but as you can see, it's in that stitch, so you don't count that one. Starting from the stitch after that, you count 1, 2, and then this third stitch again, you will do a double crochet. Then again, chain 2. And then now you're going to be working into this same stitch as your double crochet here, the one I was just showing you a second ago. You're going to be doing your puff stitch into this stitch. So insert your hook into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook back into that, pull up a loop, yarn over, and for the third time, pull up a loop. 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, and chain 1 to secure. Then again, this is where your double crochet is. Not counting the double crochet space, you'll be counting the next 2, 1, 2, and then the third. Again, you'll be doing a double crochet. And after a double crochet, you always chain 2, and then you will back up and find that previous double crochet stitch, and then you'll just insert your hook into it, pull up a loop, yarn over. You'll do that a total of 3 times. Then you'll yarn over, pull through all 6 stitches, and chain 1 to secure. And I'll show you one more time. I'll try to go a little closer. This again is where your double crochet, where we're going to do our double crochet. That's our, this is this place where there's a double crochet, see? which is exactly what you're about to do now. You're about to create your double crochet. You skip 2, so you don't count this one. 1, 2, and then this third, you'll do your double crochet. And right here where we did our double crochet is where we're going to be doing our puff stitch, our next puff stitch, not the one right now obviously, but our next one. So because we're always going to be backing up to where our previous puff stitch, our previous double crochet was, or is I should say, and doing a puff stitch there. Just insert your hook, pull up, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up. 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, and then you'll chain 1 to secure. And again, you'll count 1, 2, and then this third one. So I'm going to do this one real quick because we're here on the end and I want to show you how to do the end. Okay, now we're on our end. You have your double crochet here, then you have 1, 2, and 3 stitches. So again, you'll be skipping 2 stitches, and in this last stitch you'll be putting a double crochet. Then you chain 2 as normal and back up to find your last double crochet as normal to do your puff stitch in. 1, 2, and 3. Finish your puff stitch. Chain 1, and then to finish the row, the same stitch here where you just did your double crochet, you'll do another double crochet in that same stitch to end the row. And that is going to be your first row done. Now after your double crochet on the end, you'll want to chain 3 and turn. Let me scroll down just a bit. Okay. So we're going to be working with our puff stitch, puff stitches stitch. Each puff stitch has the place where we chain to bring it together. To secure it, it creates a stitch. And on your own, I'm sure you can see it much better. We're going to be working only in this stitch here. It looks like there's another one here on top, which I guess there kind of is, but I'm not going to be using that one. We're only going to be using this one, which if you're right-handed, then it's going to be the right stitch. Kind of the way that the puff stitch is doing diagonal, being brought up to one stitch like this, this is the one you'll use. You won't be using the one to the left. And left-handers, obviously, when this is flipped, I'll be showing you flipped, but I'll be saying it wrong. So just keep in mind that for you, it's going to be the left one. And this one will be left to you. So it'll be the left stitch for you. So what we want to do is find that first puff stitch here and skip this one. We're going to be going into the second puff stitch. So in the second puff stitch, you want to do your double crochet just like you did in the last round. Then you chain 2 after your double crochet. Remember, you always chain 2, and then you'll always back up. We're going to go into this puff stitch that we just skipped and insert our hook into that and start your next puff stitch. So again, you'll be doing this 3 times into the same stitch. 6 loops on the hook, pull through all 6 loops, chain 1. And then again, this is the one where we just did our double crochet in. So again, we're going to be skipping over to the next. So going to the next skipped puff stitch, or I should say skipping this next and then going into the next puff stitch. Now you'll be backing up and going into the skipped puff stitch, which is where we did our double crochet last time, and you'll be putting a puff stitch there. Wait, did I chain 2? Yes, I did. Always got to remember to chain 2 after your double crochet. Okay, again, you'll skip the next and then go into the following one. And you're going to be doing this for the whole row. Double crochet, chain 2, back up into the previous puff stitch, and create your next puff stitch. So continue this until you get to the end of the row, and I'll show you how to finish the row on this side. I'm on the end here. And as usual, you'll want to skip the next one. And then here, where we have a, I guess it's a long loop for my double crochet here. You can push that out of the way here. There's a stitch here on the side, which is where we did our double crochet. It's kind of elongated underneath the double crochet, so you can treat it as like a single crochet. Just want to get your hook inside there. Oops, I need to yarn over because I'll be doing a double crochet into this end stitch, and then you will chain 2, and then you'll back up into this puff stitch here. 1, 2, 3. And then again, just like you did for the previous row, you'll find the stitch that, I'm fighting with hair, sorry. The same stitch here. See, this is where you just double crocheted, and again it's pulled. Now if you find the stitch here where you double crocheted in before, and just put another double crochet into that same stitch to end the row. And this is the row that you'll be repeating over and over and over and over and over again, this last one. And it'll automatically be zigzagging because you're always going to come to the end of the row. And I'll get rid of this hair. You'll get to the end of the row and you'll chain 3 and you'll turn. And again, just like last row, you'll always skip the first puff stitch and you'll go right into the next puff stitch to do your double crochet and chain 2, and then you'll back up and do your puff stitch in the beginning. And see this little bit here where we have our chain 3, how now it's kind of hidden underneath? That's exactly what we had here. And again, this kind of chain 3 does make a stitch underneath it. Just because the chain curves, you can use that as your stitch, or you can try to put it in this single crochet below. It doesn't really matter so much. But I was kind of going for the chain when I was doing mine. Putting the last double crochet into this stitch that's created by the chain 3. So again, you'll skip the next stitch and continue on just like you did before. Double crochet, chain 2, back up. I just want to show you what the stitch looks like from the other side. If you turn it over, you can see how it's automatically starting to do the zigzag. You got one going this way, one going this way, and now you've got another one coming back this direction. So that is how you do the zigzag puff stitch. And when you get to a little ways, you can start to feel just how thick this is. This would make a very good warm baby blanket, or anything that you wanted to keep warm or cold, like for a bottle holder or something. It would be great because it's just so thick. So that is it. That's the tutorial to do the zigzag puff stitch. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click like. It really helps to support this channel. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.